By now, you guys have probably played Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Blackout mode. It was available this week on PlayStation 4 as a closed beta for those of you who pre-ordered. By the way, I hope you pre-ordered from Loot, one of my sponsors. And I have some thoughts about the game so far. First thing I want to get out of the way is that I got a couple of sponsors on the channel. First up, I got Loot. They are one of my retailers, and I work very closely with Megaron, a local distributor for Activision in South Africa. But I'm gonna give my honest thoughts, my honest opinions as to what I think about the game, Blackout, the game mode specifically, how that's gonna affect South Africans and if South Africans are gonna be playing it. So let's jump right in. For those of you who don't know, Blackout is Call of Duty's Battle Royale mode that they've introduced, competing directly with Fortnite and PUBG. In my opinion, more directly with PUBG for a couple of reasons. PUBG is a paid-to-play game, so is Call of Duty Blackout, so that's really where the fight's gonna be happening. Also, both of those are pretty much boots on the ground, rooted in reality kind of games. Obviously, Black Ops universe is more science fiction, and that's fine, right? It's nothing too out there. It's not Fortnite. You're not like materializing walls and floors and constructions out of thin air as if you were in Inception. What sets Blackout apart from other Battle Royale games that are out right now is that it's locked to first-person mode. So those of you who are playing PUBG in first-person mode, because that's your favorite mode, this is only in first-person. There is no third-person unless you're in a vehicle. Naturally, that's normal. It's also got that signature Call of Duty gameplay. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot faster. It's got the weapons that you might be familiar with if you played a lot of Call of Duty games. It has a lot of locations that are inspired or at least stolen from other COD titles. It's not really stolen because they own the title, so I don't know how that works. They're all like these mashed up environments from previous Call of Duties, so there's a lot of nostalgia for people that enjoyed Black Ops. If you guys enjoyed some of the zombie maps, there's Asylum in the Blackout mode. There's Skyscraper, which is probably my favorite location because I like the verticality, but it really sucks if you guys aren't working together as a team in that particular space. You can get split apart very easily. So here's a couple of pros and cons, and I'm going to start with the cons first. There aren't many, just to let you guys know, and a lot of the cons can be ironed out in future updates and future iterations of the title. Firstly, I think the sound needs a little bit of work. I really enjoy the sound. I actually had this on my list as a pro, but having played it a little bit longer, I'm struggling to differentiate between my teammates' footsteps, the enemy's footsteps, how far gunshots are away from my location, or how close they are. And I think that just might be a limitation of the Call of Duty engine. They're not really used to these huge spaces. They've really got it optimized and working at this large scale, which is really impressive, but at the same time, I'm not too sure if they've spent the same amount of time and effort on the audio. And for those of you who've played any kind of Battle Royale, the audio is such a big deal. It changes everything. The weapon pickups could be a lot quicker. I know there's a perk that allows you to pick up weapons faster, and I know the patch that just dropped last night. This might be a completely irrelevant discussion, but they've added the ability to pick up weapons a little bit quicker. That makes a huge difference. It doesn't feel as clunky when you pick up a weapon, so I really want them to add that more. I don't know why that's a perk. That should just be standard for me. Anything that you're doing from a mobility perspective needs to feel organic. It needs to feel natural. It feels like you're really doing that. If it doesn't feel like an extension of yourself or it hinders your ability to fight, it becomes very annoying. So I hope that kind of stuff is addressed. I trust Treyarch. They are great game developers. I know they can do this, and I believe in what they're capable of doing, and I know they will listen to us. They've also increased the player count. One of my things that I had checked was that it had a very decreased player count, but they've done a patch where they've increased, I think, to 80 or 90 players in a match, which is perfect. It's fine. That is the right amount of people that should be playing a Battle Royale game. So even that was addressed like in my cons list. They're really starting to look at people's criticisms and are patching it out. So I don't know if this video is even gonna have weight when it comes to the con department. The menu system is a bit clunky. I don't like that circle thing that I have in Destiny, but I know you can press the D-pad, but I always kind of revert to the circle thing. It makes no sense, and I'm playing it on PS4 right now. Those things can be ironed out, and it took me a while to find out where the duos, squads, solos thing was in the menu. I had to like click on it, and then it opened up a menu, but I thought because of it being in the main menu, just saying quads, I thought that was the only game mode that they had. That said, all those things have kind of either been addressed or you can get used to them, so the cons are very small. So let's let's talk about some pros. I'm very excited about Call of Duty Blackout. I think Blackout's gonna be the standout mode in Black Ops 4. I think everyone's gonna be playing it. I think Treyarch are huge fans of battle royales in general, and you can see by the way that they've made this, that they care, that they've made a really good battle royale game. Battle royale is not just about having a great game. A lot of people are pushing out battle royale games for free to play, for like little purchases. The Steam is kind of like full of these kinds of games. You need community support and you need to have a very active space, and I think Call of Duty can do that. They're very good at it. All the Call of Duties pretty much up until now, I think I think Infinite Warfare kind of struggled, but even then it had a very positive community who was actually playing. I enjoyed Infinite Warfare more than I enjoyed World War II. I know a lot of people love the boots on the ground experience, but like I think I've mentioned this in another video. If you tell a game developer what to do all the time, then they're not gonna make a game that you necessarily care about. They're good at what they do. You don't go to a doctor and you tell a doctor not to diagnose you with something because you don't like it. Game developers generally know what they're doing when it comes to adding different features, and if there are developers that you trust, they'll surprise you. And I think Treyarch are surprising us right now with Blackout. I honestly didn't think it was gonna be this good. I love the entire experience, all the way from jumping into battle with your wingsuit. I love the skill that is involved with that. They've added this ability to speed up as you drop and then kind of straighten out and kind of shoot across the map. That is very cool. Fortnite kind of has that already, but there's no like acceleration. You're kind of going at a constant speed. You either like shift, clicking forward in Fortnite and going like really quickly, or you're going falling at your normal speed. So I think that having a wingsuit and having a more learned skill approach to dropping in is extremely important. Having a whole bunch of familiar weapons as you land and picking them up is great. It helps me already know exactly what kind of weapons I'd like, and having attachments kind of like PUBG in a less like clunky method of putting on your attachments is much better. So if you want to put on an attachment that you see on the ground and you've got an SMG, just make sure that you've got that SMG equipped, and as soon as you pick up that item, it will auto-equip. That is genius. That is how you make a really smart game. They've also got a very intuitive menu that pops up if you press up on the D-pad that allows you to have access to an inventory of abilities. So you pick up these abilities like I forgot what the name is, but it's like a loot king or something. You're able to see loot from across the map. There's one that connects your team together. You can see everyone in the squad as silhouettes around you, so that you are have full squad awareness. And all those abilities are cool. And I think that the more you play the game, the more you start using them at the right time. And I think that's really unique. That's a feature that they could really add on and tackle, and they can either make some of those abilities permanent for certain game modes, or they can make those the only drops that you pick up and you're able to only equip those, or they might take some of those things like the fast looting and like the squad awareness and make them permanent features in the game. It's a way for them to drop ability into a match and see how it works and if it's good or not, and maybe make that like a fully featured like part of the UI, a part of the gameplay. Also, managing those abilities inside a gunfight really can determine who's going to be the winner or not. You can just micromanage that stuff and just be smart about when you apply your abilities in match. There's plenty of loot lying around. That's something I feel is very important for any kind of battle royale. A lot of randomness comes in the fact that when you land, you're just running around with your fists because you can't pick up anything. I found for myself that every time I drop, I'm generally able to pick up a weapon. And also the punching can cause a lot of damage. I think it does like 40 damage for every punch. That's substantial. That's like 3 hits. Your max health is 150, so 3 or 4 hits and that person's down. If you can duck and weave, KSI Logan pull them, you can make sure that their health is at 0 really quickly and pick up whatever SMG that they've got equipped, or if they're pathetic at a shotgun. What I liked about the quad mode was that I really felt that there's a huge emphasis on teamwork in a way that I don't really see in Fortnite. This teamwork kind of reminds me of Rainbow Six Siege. You need to like constantly communicate, and how you engage another team can really determine the outcome of the battle. Where you're positioned, like the high ground, or what kind of weapons you've got equipped, or or what kind of abilities you are using can really determine the outcome of the fight, and that's very important. But the biggest ability that you have is communication, and being able to speak to your teammates and run through what you think is the right approach to a team battle, like who to focus fire on, what weapons to use. If somebody on your teammates is focusing on sniping and another person is focusing on SMGs and shotguns, being able to juggle that fire line by having somebody run up to the front, take somebody out from behind a tree, somebody else at the back that is calling shots, sniping, calling out positions. It's amazing. That kind of team synergy working together is something that I've seen in Siege and a handful of other games, but not really in a battle royale yet. Another con that I'd actually like to mention that I think that they should do is that when you're down, the camera kind of locks in on you really closely. I think that you can't really look around, which is very disorientating. I suppose that's the intention, but it's nice to be able to contribute when you lock down to the firefight in different ways. And one of those ways that's super easy is just being able to be eyes and ears for the players that are still alive. I said that the sound needs a lot of work, but the actual sound effects are great. And I think that once they've tweaked it, it's gonna be spectacular. Even on a stereo headset. I'm using my Arctis 3s in-game as my PlayStation headset with stereo on, and I'm able to hear pretty much where things are coming from. They do need to fix it, but what I'm finding is that the direction of the sound is very intuitive in a way that I actually am struggling in Fortnite with where people are coming from. So I'm glad that they've started to look at the sound. I know that it can be better, and I know that this game, once it's been serviced, is gonna be great. And lastly, one of my favorite things about the game is that there are local servers. Now, I don't have this information confirmed. If you guys are techie people who understand web protocols, or I don't know, if you guys can help me where web activity is happening, and if you can prove to me that it's happening in South Africa, that would be super helpful. Call of Duty's always been great, largely because it's been a P2P service. At least as far as we know, it's been like somebody on one console hosts and they migrate the host if something goes wrong, right? That's why Call of Duty works so well, and that's why there's so many people with ZA in your lobby attached to your account. But I am quite aware that 100-player match is probably not P2P, or at least it's integrating P2P services in your console. I don't know how that kind of stuff works very well, and I would need somebody to educate me. If any of you guys know or into internet stuff, please tell me. But the ping was amazing. They didn't have the ping on screen, but where I pointed my rifle and shot, I got the hit. And I was very strangely thrown in with South Africans all the time. So every person that I played with in my squad, if I was playing like a public squad with open mic, was a South African, and people I was killing, I recognized from the Call of Duty community, and they had ZA at the end of their names, which we know is they are South Africans. What is happening? I need to know. I'm pretty certain that there are local servers for this game. I need evidence of it, and if somebody can help me do that, please let me know. But something is happening server side, which is putting us up with other South Africans. And if I'm right about this, this will be the first Battle Royale to be serviced with its own local servers in South Africa. Do you understand what that means? I don't care how good Battlefield 5 is, I don't care how good Fortnite is, I don't care how good PUBG is. I know South Africans. We will go to the one with the local server. And you might say, yeah, those other games, some of them are free. I get you, but what would you pay for a local server? That's what I've been thinking the whole time. If somebody said to me that I had to pay 1,000 Rand to get a local server in Fortnite, and I've got the community to pitch in 1,000 Rand each, we would all spend it, right? That's essentially what's happening here with COD. If we are servicing this game and buying it, and we're getting local servers, it's because we're showing financial support behind it, and that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal. It's worth more than 1,000 Rand to me as somebody who is a fan of the Battle Royale genre to have a locally serviced game in South Africa that is run at international standards, like under 20, under 10 ping in some cases if you've got Ethernet. There is something happening that is extraordinary. And that alone makes this game worth buying. I know there are tons of other game modes, and I know a lot of I have my thoughts on the Black Ops multiplayer video that went up. You guys can check that out. I think that Blackout's going to be the primary reason people buy this game, and I think that having local servers is going to be the thing that tips people over the edge. With that said, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you guys thinking of picking up a copy? Have you played the Blackout beta? What did you think? What were your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Did I forget to add anything that you thought made this game amazing? Was it an experience that you had that made this like game of the year for you? Also, if you guys want to help my channel, one of the best ways to do that is if you are thinking of pre-ordering Black Ops from anywhere in South Africa, make sure it's from loot.co.za. I'm including a link in the description below. If you pre-order from them, you get a snapback peak cap that's worth like $30 plus a 100 Rand voucher towards your next purchase at Loot, which is something that we've all been petitioning for and making sure that the best deal in the country is at Loot. I guarantee you that. If you guys are keen on buying it, make sure it's at Loot. Tweet me or with pictures and I'll retweet you. I'll see you guys in another video. High five, stranger. Cheers.